coming. Look, they're on their way. Quick, stuff that under the couch. Tidy up that corner. Bob, just shove it under there. Bob, they're going to be here any second. Hi, coaches, and welcome back. We are so excited you are back again for our Paws on the Ground training program, a program developed to help our coaching staff find their footing once they join our organization. I have the privilege of introducing you to Quick Stack number 2, coaching. I'm your host. You can call me Jill. Now let's jump right into some of our policies here at Pitbull's Fast Pitch. Get it? Policies? Pitbulls? It's all too clever. Anyway, our policies. One of our main policies that we carry out in everything we do is that everything here in our organization is earned, opportunities, and playing time. We provide our athletes with a professional coaching staff. And with that being said, this next policy was created to limit the distractions that can occur in a team environment when a parent coaches their child. Whether they exist or not, the perception of inherent biases because of family relationships can stunt the growth of a team. So we set out to circumvent those issues by providing our student athletes with a professional coaching staff. And therefore, we install a no parent involvement policy. It is important to note that this policy was developed to encourage our athletes to find the strength to advocate for themselves to authority, but was not created to keep parents at an arm's length. We know how pivotal a role a parent plays in the development of a student athlete, and especially in the recruiting process. However, our no parent involvement policy allows for our coaching staff to develop our athletes on the field and for our parents to redirect their focus on other integral parts of an athlete's development. With all that said, here's how some of those ideas translate to our time on the field. Athletes are not permitted to speak to parents during practices or games. Parents are not permitted within direct proximity of the dugout. At most, a parent is permitted to keep the book during a game. And if so, the book should be kept outside of the dugout. These policies help us create that environment that we want to foster where our athletes can speak directly for themselves to our coaching staff. And we believe this lesson carries on through their time when they play collegiate softball. Now, our next policy has to do with something everyone is here to encourage, creating a collegiate atmosphere. As former athletes ourselves, we know how important our uniforms and how we present ourselves ties into the uniformity and cohesion of a strong team. And without that cohesion, we can become distracted on an individual mission rather than being a part of a greater thing, the team. That's why we play team athletics. So we have instilled the Pitbull's Gear at All Times policy. Here are some of the ways this is carried out in our practices and games. Our athletes and our coaching staff are expected to be in Pitbull uniforms at all times, including outside events. When at games or practices, our equipment is always neatly lined and presentable. Black should be worn underneath all uniform pieces. There has been times where different dyes can bleed through a uniform. To prevent this, please ensure that your athletes are wearing black under all uniform pieces. When speaking with a coach, our athletes will be holding their hands behind their back if standing. If on knee, they would put both hands on their front of their knee. This allows to prevent any distractions when a coach is speaking, and it's a positive trait that is admired amongst collegiate coaches when attending camps. We value having pride in our presentation, and we believe these policies allow our student athletes to stand out amongst their competition. The next policy we're going to discuss evolves around playing time. Now, playing time in Pitbull's fast pitch is earned in every sense of the word. And these policies encourage our athletes to be able to find their voice, like we spoke about earlier. We want our athletes to be able to advocate for themselves to authority. So we created the Athlete Speaks First policy, evolving around playing time. Under this idea that athletes speak first, our coaching staff is instructed not to discuss with parents playing time until first brought to the attention of the coach by the player. By installing this policy, we are providing our student athletes with the environment they need to find their voice and be able to speak for themselves. We encourage our athletes to first bring to the attention of a coach a concern about playing time, allowing the coach to provide feedback on how they can further gain playing time within our organization. Once discussed directly with the student athlete, then our parents are encouraged to get involved if further need be. But again, this policy allows us to encourage our athletes to advocate for themselves, which is valuable in their long-term careers as potential and prospective collegiate athletes. Getting into our next policy, still cracks me up, guys. Policy, pitbulls. Anyway, recruiting homework. Our recruiting homework program is a mandatory part of Pitbull's Fast Pitch. As a college prep organization, we must allow our student athletes to balance the demands academically that they need to be able to pursue a higher education, as well as athletically, in order to compete at the collegiate level. And in doing so, the recruiting homework program allows our student athletes to open doors that they may not have known existed in the first place. Therefore, the recruiting homework program of Pitbull's Fast Pitch is mandatory. Now, assignments vary from one age group to the next, but that will be discussed later. Congratulations, guys! Thank you again for joining us for Quick Snack number 2, coaching, in our Paws on the Ground training program. This is Jillian, your favorite host, signing out. Can't wait to see you on the ball field. Now feel free to email me. You got those digits. Word, ladies. Word.